What is going on? It's Tuesday. You know what today's for? It's for talking. It is Talk Tuesday. It is for talking. We are here once again. It is the me. It is the Josh Koval from the Still Loading Pod. What
Hello.
is going on? How are you tonight?
I am doing fine and dandy. Been a
Nice.
busy week, busy 2 weeks. So I know we couldn't meet last week. It actually kind of was a blessing in disguise. Unfortunately, life's been a little bit tough recently, but we are making it through and happy to be here for a Talk Tuesday. Always a good time.
Yeah. Wasn't it last week that we recorded with Corey?
Mm.
Because I think we were
You're
unable to
right.
meet the week
We
before.
recorded with Corey for our Dreamcast episode,
Yeah.
which went really well. That was a lot of fun.
I had so
And
much fun. I can't wait for it to be out, which will be the 9th, the 8th, because it's the day before 9/9, which was the
yeah,
it,
because I release on Sundays, and of course, Sunday before 9/9 is 9/8. So
yeah.
uh, that's what that. Yeah, so that'll be. Oh yeah, so it's been actually like 3 weeks. We did our Talk Tuesday. We had the Dreamcast recording last week. 2 weeks prior to that, we had technical difficulties.
Yeah.
Ended up being a good thing though, just because I have been depressed for the last 2 weeks.
Oh no.
Feeling
That's
better
good.
now, or at least marginally better.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was a stressful night for me too. I was like obviously always willing to do it because these are lighthearted and fun and don't ask a whole lot of either of us. We just get to kind of shoot the
mhm.
shit for a little bit, which is nice. But yeah, we had some sound issues, but now I got these somewhat fancy headphones to go with my cool shades that apparently I'm still wearing. Uh, I was just doing dishes, and I normally either wear a hat or just have my shades to keep my hair out of my eyes. And I was like, I put my headphones on, and I was like, wait, I'm still wearing my shades. Maybe I'll just wear them for the stream. But yeah,
uh,
the Dreamcast. Speaking of, before we get too far off of that, I am thinking of doing, and I have enough days where they fit the theme of the days. You know, we have obviously Main Quest Mondays, we have Talk Tuesdays, which is today, Wildcard Wednesdays, Fighting Game Fridays. My top 10 games that I shared, and if you're lucky enough to have been there during the live version,
mhm.
I'm going to take these off because I can't see. Uh, you know what my top 10 Dreamcast games are, but if you don't, or if you want to see me play them, I'm going to be
Mhm.
counting down. It works out,
Mhm.
all of the days except for one works out perfectly to where it'll be like my number 10 game will be on a wild card Wednesday, my number 9 will be a fighting game on Fighting Game Friday, and so on. And so the next 10 stream days anyway, I'm going to be counting down. I'm going to be playing my number 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, all the way up to Main Quest Monday on the 9th, which will be the actual,
Yo, that's kind of perfect.
yeah,
That's kind of
it'll
perfect.
be the actual 25th anniversary, and I'll be playing a certain game that will be no surprise to anyone, which I know that you knew right
Instantly,
away.
I didn't even need to hear your list. I knew what your number one was.
I know. I don't want to spoil it, but if you were here for it live, you already know. Um, but yeah, I'm super stoked for that. I will now ask you the same question I always do. What have you experienced this past week that you
Oh
liked
boy.
or disliked? I mean, this can be good stuff and bad
No,
stuff.
it's all love here. What are you talking about? I had a whole bunch of fun stuff, despite all the depression,
Yeah.
which we will not dwell on. I promise. It's just kind of what's been going on a personal level, but
Yeah.
on a good level and stuff I experience. I've been hooked on a handful of things. I've been watching the last two Bond movies, Spectre and No Time to Die,
Nice.
for Still Bonding, which is the next episode's coming out this Friday for the $5 patrons. That's Spectre, and I just watched No Time to Die last night. Excuse me, for whenever that recording session is. It hasn't been scheduled yet,
Nice.
but the
Not for
guest
the
is already
first
lined
time,
up.
right?
What? Sorry,
Not for the first time, right?
not no. I've seen it before.
Okay, I was gonna say.
I've seen it before, but I got to re-experience it, and I was telling you off, Mike, how been a rough couple weeks, and it's not like a macho thing, but I have a hard time crying, and
Mm.
so um, the last Bond movie, for those who have seen it, you might know why. got me to cry, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. If you've seen it, you know why. I won't spoil it because Andrew has not yet seen it, and I know you want to.
Yes.
Um, but not related to crying. I've been watching a show called Game Changer. Have you ever heard of Game Changer?
Oh my god, I love that show. It's hilarious.
It's so good,
I should say,
so good.
with some caveat, I don't have Dropout, so I just watch the clips on TikTok. But I love the
I
clips
don't
on
have
TikTok.
Dropout either, but I bought it.
Nice.
Um,
Excellent. I support this.
no. Which I should actually pay for Dropout though, just because like I want to support more shows like it. But
Yeah.
money's tight with the House Hunt, which is always a good time.
I guess.
So I've been watching Game Changer a lot. And on a nostalgic note, have you ever heard of it's a modern toy, but it makes me feel nostalgic, excuse me. Have you ever heard of Tonies, like Tonies?
I have not. I only know the pizza place and the awards show.
So this is not a sponsor. These things are a little pricey, and they get like licenses from like Disney and stuff like that. But my daughter has this thing. It's called a Tony box. This is what it looks like.
Okay.
What it is, and I don't want to play anything because there will be licensed music and licensed stuff.
Gotcha. We'll be
it.
stricken from the internet.
But all right, cool. I don't. So the way it works is you get little figures. Like here's a little Olaf. It's washing out.
Yeah, your
it's
little.
white. Let's do the whole reason that it made me feel nostalgic. We got Arthur here.
Hey, everybody to me.
Every day,
but at a different point of view.
We don't want to get copyright striked.
Yeah, that's true. This is a cover. I think it falls under parody if we just sing it.
For a second at least.
Yeah.
So what it is, it's completely audio. It does connect to Wi-Fi just to download it, but essentially each one of these little guys sticks on top of it. It's magnetic, so they like, it doesn't fall off. The little ears here, this one ups the volume, this one lowers the volume, and it just plays little like I don't even know what you can see and can't. I got to keep it like right here, I think.
Yeah, right, cool. As long as you're somewhat centered.
So you place it on there, and it just does. It's all audio. The whole thing is audio. The whole thing is audio. It comes out the little front speaker here, and maybe at the bottom too. I can't tell, but they'll like if you like for example we have Frozen characters like we showed Olaf before. This is Anna. They'll play songs from Frozen and Frozen 2 and stuff like that. We also have Simba, the Lion King.
Simba, don't make me destroy you.
And then what else do we have here? We have Gabby from Gabby's Dollhouse, another kids show. And
so these are like amiibos, basically.
Kind of, but yeah, exactly. They're like amiibos. They're like Skylanders. Baloo from the Jungle Book.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, and this one, I don't know what exactly this one does. I haven't listened to it yet, but National Geographic, a T-Rex.
Nice.
So I'm assuming he's got dinosaur facts and whatnot on
it.
But Toy Story 1, there's a whole bunch. Like they're a little pricey. Like the little figures are like probably like $20-$30.
Whoa, for each figure?
Yeah.
Damn, even amiibos were like what, 15? And I thought that was a lot.
Well, the thing is with these, each one of these comes with at least 30 minutes of audio. It's not like here's a couple songs. You get like the Arthur one, there's no songs. You don't hear the catchy theme song.
Waste.
But you hear like 5 stories in a row read by Mark Brown, the author.
Oh,
himself.
That's awesome.
And they have like voice actors that come in for Arthur and DW and Mom and Dad and all that stuff. But it's really cool because like you can like I worked from home the other day and we put Arthur on and my daughter just sat and listened for 30 minutes.
Wow.
The whole time was just listen to the whole thing, letting the audio just kind of let her imagine. And it's easy for kids to operate. If she wants to switch something up, she just takes off the Tony, puts on the one she wants to listen to.
That's cool.
Simple as that. The reason why it requires Wi-Fi is each one kind of acts as a key, and then you can sometimes it'll download stuff to them or onto the Toady box itself. I'm not entirely sure how the technology works, if it's like stored in the figure itself, and the Wi-Fi just acts as like authentication. Some people have made custom Tonies where like they can put their own music on it. Like there's not a there, for example, there's not a Bluey one, but people have made custom Bluey Tonies
Okay.
that you can like put on. They disassemble a figure and figure out how to reprogram the chip inside.
Man,
Um,
she's gonna go nuts when you introduce her to cassette tapes and CDs.
right? But it's cool. Like we were listening to it, and part of it was just that listening to Arthur. Like I was always a sucker for that show. I didn't
Yeah.
watch a lot of it when I was a kid growing up, but I always liked it when I did watch it.
Yeah, me too.
Um,
I'm laughing because I you're probably gonna hear Felisa laugh in the background when I say this. We just helped some friends move, and for some reason we also got to talking about Arthur that day, and we were talking about like our favorite lines from the show, and we got to talking about like obviously when DW goes, well, that sign's not gonna stop me because I can't read, and then and then Felisa went, she said, I think DW goes like, she's a lonely child, and Arthur goes, no, she's an only child. A lonely child a lonely child is what you're going to be when I sell you.
there is a
So
lot.
freaking funny.
There is a joke. Arthur has some jokes in it that surprise you. There is like I I can't remember the context, but there was one where they were like going. They I forget what they were doing. They were doing like hand signals. I guess it was supposed to be about sign language or something
Yeah.
like that. And I forget what DW makes up like a hand signal. I forget what it's completely fabricated.
Oh man.
And all of a sudden you see this guy running down the street in his bathrobe like he just got out of the shower covered in suds.
Yeah.
And they're like, what are you doing? He's like, you gave the hand signal. That means that if we have to stop what we're doing, if we're taking a shower, we have to run out to you. I'm completely butchering the line,
Yeah.
but it was so random. I'm like, this is in a kids show. Like
Right.
that's a joke that you would like. It's not like it's like inappropriate. I mean, you could misconstrue because it was a grown man in a bathrobe, but like he wasn't like he wasn't being weird or creepy. He just
Yeah.
kind of said like, you made this hand signal.
You got
and
the
this is what
signal.
it means. It's a dumb joke that only an adult would be like, that's super weird and funny, and a kid will just be like, oh, that's just the world. You know what I
That's so
mean?
funny.
I was really surprised by it. Funny in a good way. I
Yeah.
was pleasantly surprised by it. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been experiencing. It's been game changer, lots of game changer.
Yes.
Lots of James Bond, which is still bonding is coming to an end.
Yes.
Only
I
one more episode to go.
have a question that I believe I teased on one of our previous episodes. If you're cool with me
Okay.
moving on, it is Bond related.
Yeah, go for it.
So I wanted to know if you know off the top of your head if they say the title of the movie in every Bond movie. Because I was going through the ones that I know, and I'm pretty sure, like, I mean, the ones I know well enough are like GoldenEye, The World Is Not Enough, the Brosnan ones,
Yeah.
Casino Royale, and those ones I know that they do. So I wonder if you have the Rolodex. Like, you're probably the person who I know that knows the most about Bond.
Oh no, they do. Quantum of Solace, they might not, but I think at the end they do.
It's a quantum of solace, Mr. Bond. Now die.
I think it says something like you've been given no quantum of solace or something like that.
Gotcha.
Hold on. Die Another Day, they do. The World's Not Enough, they do. Tomorrow Never. I don't know if they ever say it in Tomorrow Never Dies.
Oh.
Because they Tomorrow is the name of Elliot Carver's newspaper, played by Jonathan Pryce. Obviously GoldenEye, they say it in GoldenEye. License to Kill, they do, because they say like License to Kill is revoked, type of thing. The Living Daylights, they definitely do, because he has a line, it must have scared the living daylights out of her. View to a Kill, absolutely one of the worst, one of the silliest line deliveries you'll ever hear. Christopher Walken is the villain in that movie.
Oh, great.
And he goes, and Grace Jones is the henchman. Do you know Grace
Whoa,
Jones?
hell yeah.
Oh my god, dude, it is wild. So they're in a blimp, and they're looking down at like where their target is to like take out for their plan, and Grace Jones goes, "What of you?" And then Christopher Walken right next to her goes, "To a kill."
It's a view to a kill. That's the name of the movie. Bond,
much.
James Bond, or whatever.
View to a Kill, Octopussy. There, that's the name of a character.
Yeah.
So yes.
Of course it
for
is.
that, she even has a line because not her, another Bond girl in that movie has a line. She has a tattoo of an octopus, and Bond goes, "What's that?" And she goes, That's my little Octopussy." So
I can't wait to see it up close and personal.
Then you For Your Eyes Only, that adds up. Moonraker, they say Moonraker, it's the name of the spacecraft.
Yeah.
The Spy Who Loved Me, I don't think they ever say it.
Yeah. I could see that.
I won't keep. I could go down all of them.
Yeah.
I don't think that would make interesting content if I kept. I love Bond movies so much. I have way too much unnecessary information about them.
That's why I figured with no notice, you'd probably be able to say for sure whether they did or didn't, and it sounds like they didn't.
I am fairly certain there's at least one. I'm gonna Google. Do they say Tomorrow Never Dies?
In Tomorrow Never Dies.
Oh, so when I Google it, do they say Tomorrow Never Dies? The first like autofill prompt from Google, do they say Tomorrow Never Dies in the Bible?
That's in a Bond chapter 36 verse 7.
No, actually, do you count them singing the theme song? Does it, like, if they say tomorrow, like the movie title in the cold open song? Would you
No,
count that?
I wouldn't count that. I would say probably script only.
Okay, then I'd have to double check, but I'm pretty sure they never say it in Tomorrow Never Dies.
Yeah.
You know what? While we're chatting, we can move on to another topic. I'm going to message a Bond friend of
Ian
mine,
Fleming,
a Bond fan. Yeah, I'm going to message Ian Fleming himself.
From the grave. He's dead, isn't he?
Oh yeah,
I was gonna say I'm gonna
racist
channel.
Son of a bitch.
Oh God, yeah. I'm gonna channel.
I've never read any of his. I've read a little bit of Casino Royale, but there's a moment either in like Live and Let Die or something where he drops a racial slur as a chapter title. I won't go into that.
God.
It was in the 50s. I'm not saying like.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, you know how like I'm not gonna even make it okay. Like how sometimes there are words that are acceptable at a time, and then as people kind of grow, like it's even acceptable to the people now that would be that it's offensive to.
Yeah.
This is not one of those instances.
Okay.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Like,
it's like, you know, sometimes it was okay to say this back then because that's just what people called this.
Yeah.
Whatever sensitive topic, whatever ethnicity, whatever, anything like that. That's not this case, because not only does he use a racial slur in the title, he also has very gross depictions of said race in it.
Don't like that.
Nope, he was a racist bitch. Damn. He was a racist human, awful human being.
I know.
Made a great character.
Yeah,
and he wasn't an awful writer, but you know, it's the same thing. You know, like Lovecraft has really awful things about him. You know,
I was just telling Polisa about like Orson Scott Card. Like Ender's Game is still probably my favorite book of all time, but he's a piece of shit too. You know, like super misogynistic, super homophobic. Like, yeah. But if you can, and I'm not saying that everyone should have to, but if you can separate the art from the artist, I think, you know, that's a whole nother argument that we could have a whole entire podcast on. But
I think that's easier said. I think that's easier said when the said artist is dead.
That's fair.
And they like, I think it's a lot harder when the artist is still alive.
Yeah.
And I don't, but like you said, that's another topic for another day.
Yeah. So keeping in the movie theme, something that I experienced recently, at least since the last time we talked, Deadpool and Wolverine.
What did you think of it?
I have definitively decided that Deadpool is the best superhero trilogy.
Wow.
It was excellent.
I've yet to see any of them.
Really? Not even the first one?
No, mainly because Deadpool fans ruined any chance of me being interested in it.
That's
I
totally fair.
don't I don't like characters who their whole shtick is like, I'm just a cheeky asshole and I know I'm a cheeky asshole, and aren't I funny because I'm saying things that are edgy. That's all
Yeah.
Deadpool is to me, and I don't have time for that shit. It drives me up a wall.
Yeah.
I with that said, I have been curious. Like I've heard nothing but good things about the first movie and the second movie, and I've heard actually mixed reviews about this new one. Some people are like it's too fan servicey, then other people are like it's a great movie, go see it. So I'm definitely curious enough to watch it. I think it's just I kind of get tired of the. It's the same thing. Reason I'm not a huge fan of shows like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia or The League or
Oh.
heck even like Seinfeld, where like everyone's just not a good person and that's the joke.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I don't like that. I find that's a very pessimistic view of the world, and I don't enjoy that.
Okay, that's fair. I will
Sorry,
say
I got really deep on this.
right. No, that's totally fair. I will say I think Polisa is much the same way, and I showed her the first Deadpool. Not really sure if she was gonna like it, and she loved it. So much so that I think either the next day or maybe even that day we watched the second one, and then obviously the third one came out. We watched it and loved it. I think it's enough of the like, haha, look at me, I'm breaking the fourth wall, and it's also got like a ton of heart, especially in the first movie. Well, I know the second one too. All of them
That's
really.
what I've heard. I've heard they have a surprising amount of heart, which I kind of
Yeah,
respect.
more than you would think.
Yeah.
And it's very much, at least the third one anyway, without spoiling too much or anything. It's very much like a love letter to the because this is the first MCU movie that they've made, like X-Men adjacent that wasn't with Fox, like while Disney had owned Fox. So they acknowledge it. It's very funny, but it's also like a very nice love letter to all the old, like the old X-Men. Like Hugh Jackman's been playing Wolverine for 25 years now, because I think the first one came out in '99.
Dude is still like freaking. It's insane how that man looks. It's wild.
I don't know how he looks better now than he did 25 years ago. It's
what are
nuts.
you talking about? Men age like fine wine.
Well, I need to taste some of that wine because I feel like I look like shit.
What are you talking about? You look fucking great.
Well,
okay.
Thank you. That was not a fish, but I will take that.
If tell Polisa that I think you look hot as hell. All right.
Okay. Hey, Han.
Yeah.
Josh says I look hot as hell.
Yeah, you do. Tell him, Josh. Every 5 minutes, I try to tell him the same thing.
Okay. Well, thank you. This has now become Feed My Ego, the podcast.
That's right. Hey,
Drew's here.
Drew's in chat. What's up, Drew?
A fellow Drew. Yeah, so I will say, highly recommend it. I would watch the first one. If you don't like it, you're not going to like 2 and 3, but I think you might like it.
Maybe we should do an experience share when I do eventually watch it.
I would love to do that. Now that
you can finally watch Bluey, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that being the trade. You watch the Deadpool trilogy, I watch all of Bluey.
Well, I was gonna say I'll watch the first movie. I'm not gonna subject myself to all 3 if I don't like the first one.
That's fair.
I'll watch the first one if you watch let's say 5 or 6 Blueys, because they're only 7 minutes apiece. It's not like 5 or 6 Blueys is 3 hours. That's 5 or 6 Blueys will last you less than an hour.
I mean, yeah, if it's if roughly the same time, I'm happy to watch 2 hours of Bluey for one movie, because the movie's 2 hours. Is that too much?
We may have to. No, that's not too much.
Well, we may have to workshop this off stream, but yeah, I do want to do the media trade thing and split and reconvene and come back.
Would you be interested? I don't know what your schedule is like this week. I actually have a lighter week of podcasting this week. It's mostly just editing, and I some of the stuff I was trying to schedule for recording fell through, so I have no recording sessions this week. So theoretically, I may have a slot available to watch Deadpool.
Nice. If Ryan Reynolds were here, he would say, "I'll fill your slot with some Deadpool."
Yes, he would.
I just have his voice in my head because I've rewatched the first 2 and then just recently watched the third one. I love that man. I don't quite have as much of a man crush on him as I think most guys do, but Polisa does. I'm learning to love him more and more, especially after I hear. I can't spoil things, but from things that he made happen in the third movie, like off camera, like just as him being a person, just hearing that he's an incredible human being. So, yeah,
He seems like a good dude.
yeah. So, just for sake of time, I will move on. And I teased it in the opening. I know you have shared. I hope this is not an overshare for you, but I know that you said it on stream. You are officially trying to conceive a child, and I am officially on track to never conceive a child. I have a vasectomy scheduled for the end of October. What? Police are going nuts. I hope that got picked up.
No, Nut November is getting real.
All Nut November.
All Nut November, no child.
Yeah, no child life. Drew says it did get picked up. Nice. Yeah, so I have not had insurance for pretty much 10 years, and I made the decision roughly 15 years ago because I just shared a Facebook post that I made 15 years to the day. Congrats to both of you. Is that me and Polisa or me and Josh? Who's the both here, Drew?
If it's me, then that just means I'm getting some sex. All right.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I still am as well, just with no consequences.
Consequences.
As I view it, consequences, yes. Oh, me and Josh. Okay. Yeah, so I made a Facebook post 15 years ago about how I will never have kids, and then it came up on my Facebook memories, and I shared it, and I was like, to anyone who thinks this was a snap decision, it clearly wasn't, because at least 15 years ago, I was like, hell no. It's just not for me. I know it is for some people, but I have a sneaking suspicion that it's not for as many people as they might think, and I think societally and familial pressure makes them do it. And I'm like, if you intentionally come to that decision on your own, that's great, all the power to you. But if someone or something or societal or even like my mom all the time, I guess I'll never, before my sister had kids, she'll, I guess I'll never be a grandbaby. And I know Police's mom's the same way.
Single time I see her.
Every time she's like, where are my grandbabies? And we're like, no, it's not, it's just not for us.
It's totally fair. I think it's like you shouldn't. I don't know. I think, especially knowing your personality, there would be elements of it that you would love.
Yeah.
Specifically getting to share new experiences with them. It is one of the if I don't think the pros of this outweigh the cons for you. I'm not trying to convince you otherwise. Don't worry, I'm not one of those.
That's
like,
all right.
Where are your kids type of thing? Because you're right. There are people who have kids who probably shouldn't have kids. My wife can attest to that when she worked in childcare.
Right.
There are parents who literally just are there who literally just had kids because that's what was expected of them by their parents, and they are rich enough that they can afford childcare, so they just pawn the kid off on childcare. That happens more often than I'd like by a long shot,
for sure. And you and I both worked at GameStop, so that
that and but on the other end, like, I think, how can I put this? You change so much on an emotional level when you become a parent, and I'm not talking about like, oh, I love my kids so much. You do, but it's not like, I don't know. For me, it's not like this, like, you know how every time you hear a dad or a mom describe, like, oh, when you came into the world, my world changed, and I never thought I could love something more. That's fucking bullshit. They were too tired to feel anything at the time that you were born.
Damn.
I mean, okay, I can't say that for everyone, but at least for me, I was too exhausted and too emotionally drained to feel anything when Felicity was born. But as you see the child, as you see your kid grow and like kind of become a human, like suddenly gain personality and learn that, like, it is the coolest thing when you see them experience something for the first time and you see like a light in their eyes, and all of a sudden they get to experience something that you've known for years. So it's not like anything new and exciting for you, but it's new and exciting for them, and you can see their joy. And it's joy, it's not just happiness. It's like it's
Like they're
It is
they're
pure
thrilled.
joy. And that is something that I genuinely don't think people without kids can experience. I'm not saying that is the only reason to have kids,
Sure.
mind you. That is um like I feel all and Drew's with me. Like you
Yeah,
have two
yeah.
daughters, and a lot of the mushy stuff parents say is total bullshit.
Total
Listen,
bullshit.
I feel that mushy stuff now, but I didn't when the kid was born.
Yeah.
Like, putting my I've had a really good day today. I had watching some other stuff that kind of re-experienced my childhood through my kid's eyes. Like
That's
when I
cool.
put my
That
kid-
aspect I like.
you will like there is nothing that like that's the closest you'll ever get to being able to re-experience your childhood. And that should not be the only reason you have a kid.
Right.
Like, I want to be able to play with TMNT again with you.
Yeah.
That's not a reason to have a kid. You have to let the kid be their own person. Like Felicity
Sure.
doesn't show that much interest in video games right now. She likes that I like them, which I think is really sweet. But
Yeah, and that's so dangerous too. Like I feel like a lot of parents get mad or resent their kids for not following in their footsteps, or they use their kid as a vessel to project their
things they couldn't
failed, dreams and stuff onto, and that's, just that's bad both ways. There's resentment
it's
both
funny.
ways there.
Here you're talking about oversharing. Here is it's not too much oversharing, but some people might find it gross. I think this is hilarious. Your kid, depending on the personality, of course, it's very dependent on the kid. At least with my own daughter. Hopefully, I didn't say her name. I might have said it already. I try to keep that off.
May have.
Whoops. But with my daughter, she, what is it? She is like the biggest cheerleader of like innocuous things, like a small, like she'll cheer you on over the most silly, basic things. For example, before my wife is out at a meeting tonight and I'm home, I was home alone putting the kid to bed, and we were watching Bluey downstairs. I go to the bathroom and she just fucking walks into the bathroom, as kids do. And
Yeah.
I'm like, sweetie, like if it's okay if you need to come in, just knock at first. Please just knock. If someone's in the bathroom, please just knock, especially mommy or dad or anyone. And she didn't really pay much of attention to it. It went in one ear and out the other, I could tell.
Yeah.
But then I was like, all right, well, do you have to go potty? And she goes, yeah. So I'm like, okay. And I was finishing doing a doozy of a toozy.
Okay, I love that phrase.
No, so I'm not going to describe. Anyway, so
Please don't.
no. It's bizarrely important to the story.
Okay.
I'll just say this: it was small. That's all I'm going to say. It was small, right? Now, I get up and she looks in and goes, "Wow, Daddy, you did a poo-poo." I'm like, "Yeah, I did." And she goes, "Good job. I'm so proud of you."
Oh my God, that's adorable.
Because she has had such a hard time pooing herself because she would hold it in and she would refuse to do it and all this
Yeah.
other stuff. It was really frustrating and aggravating. I'm like, just fucking poop.
Right, you're just like ready to
your
like squeeze her out like a
Your
tube of
stomach
toothpaste.
hurts. That's why it hurts. She would constantly complain about being cold, and she would constantly complain about being cold because she was getting chills from holding the poop in. And I'm like, just fucking poop, kid. Come on.
Oh my God.
So we really had to be cheerleaders with her. Like, you can do it. Like, anytime she would do it, especially of her own volition, we would make a big deal out of it.
That's so funny.
And so now, because of that, I did my little toozy, and she comes in and goes, "Wow, Daddy, good job. I'm so proud of you."
you.
Thank you, Felicity. Oh my gosh, there it is.
Oh, there it is
Said
again.
again.
Oh, we're live. It's
Come
okay.
Thank you. And so then she goes on the potty to do her potty, and then I leave the room because I want to give her privacy. I keep the door open just in case she needs anything.
She
But
said, "I'm
I
gonna
leave
beat
the room.
that."
Well, then she gets off. She's like, "Look, I did one just like you," and it was like the same size. I'm like,
Aw.
did you fucking just like
Copy paste.
plan this? So that's why I said the size was bizarrely pertinent to the
Yeah.
story. Like she like almost planned. It was really weird.
That's so funny.
It was very cute, but it was very weird.
Drew
And
says he locks the door even though his kids are 15 and 12.
muscle memory, man.
When I lived alone, like, I still would like close the door, and I was like, who is this for? Like after a little while, like, you get it, had the breakup that you know about, and then for a while it was like, okay, yeah. I'm talking like 2 years after, I'm closing and locking the door because, like a child, she would come in and ignore all of my personal boundaries, and then I'm like living alone, locking the bathroom door, and I'm like, wait, who is this for at this point? But that's so funny that she gives you praise over the littlest things, and my little counter / also possibly overshare is that I have Polisa to do that.
So let me get this straight.
Not in a poop way.
You just equated your wonderful girlfriend to be your bowel movement encourager. You can do it, Andrew. Push it out.
Just encourage her. It hasn't been under that context yet, although I wouldn't be surprised if it did.
Next time I come to visit you, I want her to do, like, you go to the bathroom. It doesn't have to be a 2. It can be anything. But you come out of the bathroom and she'll be like, good job, Andrew. I'm so proud of you.
Yeah. I could share. I'm going to share a little bit too much for the sake of the joke. She would call me the same thing that your daughter calls you.
What? Oh, wait. What? Is this a sex joke? I can't tell now.
Yes.
Okay. It went over my head.
And that's what happens when you have kids.
Well, it wasn't very... We were talking about poop, and then you went a sex joke. So I wasn't really, like, moving from poop to sex.
Yeah, there was definitely
apparently
not a bowel movement there. Anyway. I hate this. I hate this so much.
You are the one that went there.
I know.
Say, you are the one that went there.
I know. I'm just trying to find more and more reasons to not have kids.
No, you shouldn't have it. Like, if you don't like, I say all that to say, though, like, I think, in all honesty, like, whenever I would hear you say you don't want to have kids, the only reason I would feel sad is for the reasons I just mentioned. And I honestly, I think I'm kind of over it in a weird sense. Like, not over you having it. I'm not like upset at you not wanting to have kids. What I mean by, like, I think I'm over feeling that kind of like, oh, Andrew doesn't want to have kids, because I finally was able to figure out why I was bummed by it. Like, I was bummed because I couldn't think. I'm like, you don't understand. This is what is good about it. I understand that's not enough. Like, it's like the pros and the cons of it still outweigh the pros for you. That's valid. I'm not trying to convince you of it. But I couldn't put my finger on, like, what are the cons, or what are the pros, excuse me, that I think would really resonate with Andrew. And I think I finally got it. And it was the fact, like, the reason for this whole channel existing,
right,
is a reason you would love to have, is one of the few things you would love about having a kid.
Yeah, that's
not the reason you would love to have kids. One of the like I said, big difference. So
yeah.
And you're right though, man, because back to, like, stopping me from playing devil's advocate, too many people have kids for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah.
Whether because they're told to, or whatnot, or they want to relive some part of their life, or like live vicariously, excuse me, through their kids, all that stuff. Like, if you don't want to do it, don't do it. Like, it's fine. It's in all honesty, in a weird sense, in a selfish sense, this world's overpopulated anyway. You're probably doing us a favor. Like, yeah. Social Security is going to be sucky for us, but it's already, we're not going to get it anyway.
So it's gone pretty much for us. And just like the state of the world anyway. That's a pretty big reason. But just to, like, close the loop on what you were saying about, like, sharing experiences, I think I've just come to the point of, I would much rather do that with a partner than, like, a kid that I also have to raise and is going to be really expensive, and maybe they're not going to like the same things that, not obviously that, Polisa likes everything that I show her, but I can share an experience with Polisa and then have, like, a really in-depth, like, conversation about it afterwards. And, like, you can do that with a child, like, when they get old enough to do that, but it's those, like, early years, like, taking care of an infant who's just, like, shitting itself all the time, like, and the expense of it, like I can barely afford to keep myself alive, much less like another human, you know. So I just think everything that most people, all the reasons that most people want to have kids, like I think would rather do all those things with a partner, you know, and be able to, you know, have our own autonomy. And
though, like the only pushback I would give is that you will never be able to recreate the joy that you see in a kid's eyes. It's just impossible. That's fine. Like, I'm not saying that's like you're missing out on something huge. Like, you're gonna have just as many. You're gonna have different fulfilling experiences. Not when I say you that I firmly believe you, like, no one will ever be able to recreate a child's joy, and I think that's just because they don't have life to wear them down, type of thing.
Oh God. It can come pretty close though. I have had some moments where I've been like, I've shown Polisa something or shared something with Polisa, and she's gotten so excited that she's like cried, and then it would happen to me, and I'm like, that's close enough for me to also, while having the benefit of not having to, like, you know, change a kid's diaper or, you know, feed them or deal with school or, you know, crying and not getting any sleep. Not that, you know, it's not that it's always that, but the cons definitely heavily outweigh the pros for me.
I think a lot of it too, because I had a lot of those same thoughts when my kid was born. A lot of it's anxiety. Like, it just like, oh, this is all the bad stuff that would happen. I'm like, yeah, or the bad stuff you're gonna have to deal with. When I've come to realize that it's, at least for me, I'm not going to speak for everyone else. I'm not going to speak as a way to like, this is how it definitely is. But at least for me, it's come to just be like, I don't know, it's not bad. Just because something is hard doesn't mean it's bad. And that's taken me a long time to realize.
That's fair.
Just because something, because like with my daughter, there's a lot of hard moments, and sometimes they are bad. They're tough. They're frustrating, all that stuff. But it doesn't mean they're bad because I've learned something from it. It's taken me a long time, but I've learned something from it.
Yeah.
And with that said, I'm not even doing this to be nice and play devil's advocate with myself. Like, there are stuff that you will get to do because you don't have kids that I will never get to do, or at least not anytime soon. At this point in my life, I won't be able to travel to Japan when I'm still young. Right. I will have to wait until I'm old. I cannot just do. I can't just like go with my partner, go with my wife Courtney, and just travel somewhere just for fun,
right? Or
go out on a date spontaneous. You lose spontaneity once you have a kid. It's very hard to be spontaneous once you have a kid because you're on such a regimented like a schedule. So yeah, there's lots of amazing things that you miss out when you don't have kids. There's lots of amazing things that I'll never get to do because I have a kid, and I don't regret it in the slightest. Just like you don't regret not. I don't think you're going to regret not having a kid in the slightest. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's just different experiences for sure.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I guess once Polisa and I move to Japan next year, we'll have to wait roughly 18 years for you to come visit.
Well, good luck with immigration over there.
Yeah, I know. We gotta find jobs and get sponsored visas and all that fun stuff. But we're working on it.
Are you actually seriously considering that?
Oh yeah, we're making active plans to make it happen. It's just the hard part is finding jobs. Because you can't just. It's not like I don't know if Europe is like this, but I imagine European countries you can just show up and be like, hey, I'm gonna live here now, and they're like, okay, well, that's fine. I know it's more complicated than that, but with Japan, you cannot enter unless you have a Japanese company sponsoring your visa so that they know that you're going to contribute to the economy and all that fun stuff. So I have some context there from some freelance work that I have done. I've gotten kind of wishy-washy answers, but because they're small companies, like, you know, so I don't think they would have work for me, and I don't think they could afford to bring somebody on right now, but who knows? We're trying to make it happen by the end of this year, at least to nail down jobs. And if we don't, then we're just going to try to apply to teaching English jobs, because that you're pretty much guaranteed to get in because there's a big demand for that. But they don't pay very well.
Yeah.
That's not really what I want to do. But I would if it got me to freaking live in Japan. So.
Well, there you go. I think that's the moral of today's story, kids. Live in Japan.
Live in Japan. Just don't have kids and live in Japan. No, I'm just kidding. If you're me, don't have kids and go live in Japan. If you're not, make that choice yourself.
Yeah, there you go.
I know we're getting up to 9 o'clock, and I know you got to start your stream, but just a real quick, and on the topic of Japan, another thing that we experienced, at least since the last time that we did a Talk Tuesday, was Police and I went out to Otakon for the day.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we were gonna. I'm so mad. We stretched our finances a little bit to go, and it was Otakon's 30th anniversary, and we really wanted to go just for the Friday because Flo was playing. Do you remember Flo?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Didn't they do a Naruto theme song?
they did several, and
Did they do Fighting Dreamers?
yes,
We are
fighting dreamers, Takavio Besashite, fighting dream. Yeah, that was their big one. But they did that. They did Remember. They did Sign. I think the one was called. But they've done a bunch of like anime openings, like for Code Geass and I think maybe One Piece. But they were there on Friday, and I was like, let's just go. Just go down to see them, if not for anything else. Not stay for the whole weekend because lodging is the expensive part, and it's in DC now. It's not Baltimore, so it's much further away. But unfortunately, there was a like a sign up that you had to do beforehand just to register yourself a seat. It was like a way to get them to sell tickets without selling tickets, and apparently they went out. They were sold out in half a second, and so we didn't get to go. Well, we didn't get to see them, but we got to go to the con, which was nice. So it was cool being back at Otakon. I haven't gone since 2010. Which is wild.
I've never been.
Really? We were going to go. We were going to do that full 10-man Akatsuki thing before that all fell
Part
to
of me
shit.
almost doesn't want to go now because I remember Baltimore was like the Baltimore Convention Center was like when Otakon was at its like height of like at least in my mind in my own personal zeitgeist.
Yeah.
That was at the height of its popularity. I know it's actually bigger now than it was back then.
Much.
Like it just keeps growing. But I just have no interest at this point just because it's so big cons are like such a turnoff for me. What is it? I mean, I know I want to start my stream soon, but like San Diego Comic Con, the quote unquote Mecca as some people refer to it of the geek world. I don't. Is that sacrilegious towards Muslim Islamic?
I don't
know.
think so, but it's not my place to say.
Now
that I think about it, it's probably they would
be a
probably
little bit-
prefer. They'd probably prefer that you don't. That you don't use that
Well, you
for
know what? I'm
things
Christian,
that aren't.
so we'll say it's the Jerusalem.
Yeah, that's fair.
Well, I'm semi-Christian. I don't know what I am anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one of my coworkers, he's a really nice older dude named Al. He's in his he's almost 70. Like he's up he's almost 70. I want to say, or in his 70s or close to that. He is big into comic books, big into geek culture, all that good stuff. And he always tells me, like, man, I'm telling you, you gotta go to Comic-Con in San Diego. You're gonna find something you love there. I'm like, I don't doubt it. I'm sure there's gonna be stuff that I like, but is it really like? Let's say money's not even an object. Let's say I'm rich and I don't have to fucking worry about it. I don't feel like flying all the way out to San Diego just to see some shit that I can see at a convention at home.
Yeah, I will say after having gone to San Diego 2 years ago, I will go there 10 times over before I ever go to LA again. I really like San Diego.
I've heard the city of San Diego is wonderful.
And the area around it, just like very mountainous, I felt like I was on Mars. Like it was like a whole different ecosystem. Plants were different, animals were different, birds were different. I was like, what is going on? It's very pretty out there though. And some of the best food I've ever had. Like, it's right on the border of Mexico, so the Mexican food's real good. It's right on the ocean, so all the sushi I got was incredible. I got fish tacos as soon as I landed, and I almost said a word I probably shouldn't since we've already gone to weird places during this conversation. It was good. It was real good.
You orgasmed is what you said.
Yeah, basically, yeah. As one of my friends would say, I creamed my jorts.
That's fun.
But I totally get what you're saying. Like, going to San Diego Comic-Con is a total, like, I don't think that you couldn't get the same experience going to like New York Comic-Con or like Philly Fan Fest,
And the thing is like so here, the main reason people go to Comic-Con is that you get to see some of the bigger stars and and a lot of the
Yeah.
Marvel stars are there. There's always a big Marvel panel. They have some big announcements at Comic-Con.
Yeah, that's true.
There's always like whether it's some TV shows or something comic book related, all that stuff, and that's fine. That's really cool. But I'm more into the game world of it, and
Yeah.
as much as I'm sure that I know there's going to be video games there. I know there's going to be someone selling either retro or modern games. There's going to be maybe even booths with some publishers there. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh yeah.
But none of that interests me enough to fly over 3,000 miles just to go somewhere that's going to be more expensive to stay in a hotel.
Oh god,
and
yeah.
spend all the time there just to hang out for. Even if it's the whole time, all 4 days or whatever, however many days it is,
Right.
like, and my friend Al's like, I guarantee you're going to see something there that you've never seen. I'm like, have you ever been to RetroCon? Like, listen, I'm not like I actually there probably will be stuff that's over there that I don't see here on the East Coast because it's all West Coast vendors and stuff,
Yeah.
and some of the biggest vendors on top of that. But like, I don't know. I don't feel like waiting in line for like an hour, even if it's an hour. Even if I'm being generous, I'm sure it's longer in some of these panels.
Oh yeah.
If I'm waiting an hour just to see to see a bunch of Marvel actors, I don't give a fucking shit about that.
If you're lucky to get in, because when I went to San Diego for Star Wars Celebration in 2022, and for their main halls, like where they show all the new stuff, like you're saying, they showed like an episode I think of Andor early, or Kenobi early. I got into the Kenobi one, but it's a lottery. Like you don't know if you're going to get in or not, which in some ways I like, because it's like, okay, cool, that takes away, now I don't have to take 3 hours to line up. But
agreed.
The chance that not everyone can even go see the main stuff, like that kind of sucks.
I don't know, it just doesn't, like, that type of shit, like the things that you'd be waiting in line for or getting a lottery for, I just don't care enough. And
Yeah.
Drew, you were saying you went to Comic-Con in Boston and Fan Expo in Rhode Island, and you like Fan Expo better. Was Fan Expo smaller? I'm assuming so. I'm assuming Comic-Con in Boston is bigger.
I could
It's the
imagine.
same thing, like people always go to like New York Comic-Con, the East Coast equivalent, which is or it's smaller, I know, but it's still pretty damn big.
Yeah.
Still no interest in it. Like
I
have no interest in going to, like, even if like travel is not that much of an issue.
Yeah.
Like, it's expensive to get in. Autographs for the people are like $70 or $100 or some shit.
Yeah.
And I don't want to spend $100 just to get a signature of some celebrity. I go to smaller cons. Yeah, sometimes they're like, I think the most I've ever paid for was Charles Martinet's signature.
Yeah, that's fair.
But that's fucking Mario.
That's Mario.
Like, that's more important to me than Chris Evans as Captain America or
Right.
Robert Downey Jr. now as Doctor Doom. Or
I
whatever.
know.
Like, I just don't, like, it just doesn't matter as much to me. And
Right.
so when my friend Al keeps telling me, like, oh, you gotta go, you're gonna see something, I'm like, bitch, at RetroCon I saw Play-Doh scented perfume. Do they have that at Comic-Con?
Do they have?
I fucking doubt it. It was for the 50th anniversary of Play-Doh, and they made a perfumes of its scent.
Wow. Smaller con, but the guests were better. Yeah, I've had that experience too at Too Many Games. That's where I met Charles Martinet. And so you mentioned him, like, he's getting up there in age. He's also not voicing Mario anymore. So like, who knows if he's even going to be doing that kind of thing anymore. Like, I got the most I ever spent was $100 for Anthony Daniels when I was at Star Wars Celebration, because he's C-3PO. He's the person who was in every single Star Wars movie. He's also one of the oldest cast members of the original. So like, who knows if he's even going to be around anymore, for much longer. So I thought that was like, all right, you know what? I was going to do that. It was either him or Ian McDiarmid, who's the Emperor, but his was like $180. And I was like, dude, I love you, but that is just absurd. Don't you make millions of dollars from these freaking movies anyway? Like,
Dear God.
that's why I like going to smaller cons and seeing voice actors who I just like
Same.
love more. Like when I got to meet David Hayter and Cam Clark, Solid and Liquid Snake, that was incredible. And they had enough time to sit and talk to me for a little bit. Like, I jokingly was saying to Cam Clark, I was like, oh, Daniel's nice, like from Everything Everywhere All at Once. When
No, he's talking about Anthony Daniels.
Oh, Anthony Daniels. I thought you were saying
the
Daniels
dude-
like.
No, the dude you just mentioned.
Oh, gotcha. When I hear, I'm so used to hearing people just say Daniels as in the directors for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Anyway, when I was talking to Cam Clark, I stopped for a second. I was like, not entirely him, but like he was one of the voices that him and David like inspired me to do voice acting, and he was like, "Oh, you're a voice actor," because he's British, and I was like, yeah. He's very well dressed too. I think I told this story when we were talking to Corey.
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
I remember this.
But yeah, he was like very well dressed, and I was like, yeah, I normally do commercial stuff, so I kind of put on my radio announcer voice. And he was like, wow, that was actually really good. And I was like, oh my god, Liquid Snake said my voice is good. I'm just going to become Liquid. Liquid. I'm going to become. Oh my god.
We've devolved into madness.
We sure have, and I know we're a little bit over time.
Fine.
I did want to say that. Oh yeah. One thing I didn't mention that I want to something that I have experienced, and here's where something that can be negative can be an experience. Doing this research and stuff for the vasectomy, and also looking into healthcare for Japan because we're trying to move there. I experienced a new fear. Yay! I now have a crippling fear of. So apparently, in Japan, they're very strict when it comes to. I almost said euthanasia. Oh my god, anesthesia.
Okay.
Anesthesia. I saw a Reddit post where somebody was like, I went under for a procedure and I woke up during the operation and was screaming and crying and telling them to give me more anesthesia, but like they wouldn't because they were like at a hard limit because like they have strict laws and stuff, I guess. So like you have to and our bodies are very different from theirs. And I'm also 6'4", so like I have more of me, I would probably require more anesthesia anyway. So I'm like, oh my god, what if we get there and I have to go under for some procedure and I wake up and I'm just like feeling what they're doing, moving my guts around or whatever they end up having to do, and they're just like, I just imagine them having like my liver in their hand, like Mortal Kombat fatality or something, and being like, okite. Like he woke up, like, and me just being like, and then being like, well, nothing we can do, just suffer with it. That it honestly kept the night that I heard about that, I could not sleep. So I have a new nightmare. So that's what I experienced recently.
Easier said than done, but anxiety is just imagination used in the wrong way. So just try not to imagine that.
That's fair.
And yeah, Drew wrote in.
Oh, sick.
He met Will Friedle from Batman Beyond, Critical Role, and got to talk to him for 10 minutes about D&D. Will Friedle seems like a good dude. I know he had some issues on the Boy Meets World set that was addressed, and he apologized for it. But he seems like a good dude.
I was gonna say you're leaving out probably what he's most known for, which is Boy Meets World, which is my second favorite sitcom of all time.
It's a good show, man. It's surprising because like there's I think the creator of that is like pretty religious, and you can kind of see some of its undertones in the show.
Yeah,
but he gets a little bit more overt with it apparently in Girl Meets World, and
it
wasn't as well received because of that.
You could go a little bit further with that on primetime TV back in the 90s though. Like remember Seventh Heaven or Touched by an Angel? They were very overt.
Well, they were like more overt in the successor in like the 2010 or 2012 whenever Girl Meets World came out.
Yeah, that's wild.
It was less overt in the 90s. It was just weird. That's what I've read. I don't know how much true. He had some issues where he was like behind the scenes. He was a dick to one of the actresses, the actress who played Sean's girlfriend.
Oh, Angela.
Angela, yeah. I don't know. He apparently did apologize to her. Like it came out that he did apologize to her for his behavior.
Was he like racist to her?
I don't remember. It might have been like mildly, but he did apologize to her. And
yeah, that's good.
I can't which to me shows character.
It's totally. It's nice to see some accountability, especially in like I don't know if this counts as Hollywood, but in the entertainment space. Like even I know this is partially a controversial take, but like I really like Shia LaBeouf. Like I think he's a great actor. I know he's been abusive to his girlfriends, and he's gone to rehab and stuff, and he's apologized for it publicly. And I know some people who are like, nope, fuck him forever. And I'm like, that's fine. That's like totally your thing. But I really liked the conversation that he had with John Bernthal on his podcast about it. And I was like, I may not respect you as much as I did in one way, but in another way, I respect you more for being so in the limelight, still being like, yes, I did all of those things and I regret it immensely. And you know, people make mistakes, and it's like, yeah, that was really shitty, and I will probably never respect you as much as I did in that way, but I also respect you more than I would have if you hadn't, you know, in a different way. So
it's like one of those things that even though it's not necessarily your place to, it's almost like you've forgiven him, but you don't really like, you forgive him in the sense that like, okay, you've owned up to your mistakes, but I can't look at you the same way that I did before, type of thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like I would love to have a conversation with him because he seems like such a down-to-earth guy, but I also sure as hell would not feel comfortable about bringing my girlfriend around him, you know? So it's very, you know, it's two different experiences.
I mean, I know we keep going off on tangents, and I have to start my stream soon, but
so sorry.
I think that is something that has always bothered me about internet culture. Is that there is no forgiveness or very little, and people will make judgments on people without things being fully, like all the information coming out, or just waiting, like just because everything's about reactionary. Everything like the news is reactionary, so people are reactionary. I'm not blaming the news for people being reactionary, but it's just kind of like showing how bad the symptom has gotten. Or how bad it has gotten. It just it always bothers me because if you don't give the Twitch streamer and speedrunner Grand Pooh Bear said this in one of his, he used to do a podcast called Warp World with his buddies, some streamer friends, and there was a point that he made that has really resonated with me, where if you don't give someone a path to redemption, their only other choice is to double down.
Ooh.
And that has really resonated with me. I wouldn't say it's a little bit too black and white. It's not their only choice. They could,
but
just,
they're probably more
go
likely
away.
to.
They could just go away and not do anything, like not seek forgiveness, not get redeemed, but also not double down. They could just, you know, do nothing. So there is other options, but I think that sentiment is still kind of, it rings true. Like, what is it? The YouTuber Pro Jared, he got outed a couple years ago for having inappropriate conversations with people who were not his wife. Now, at the time, they had already filed for divorce, so there was actually no infidelity.
Gotcha.
That actually occurred. Like, divorce was already happening. They may not have been fully separated, but he wasn't actually cheating. The people he was communicating with claimed that they were underage, and he knew they were underage.
Oh.
He went quiet for like months, and then came back with all the receipts and proved to them that he had not only asked, but they had also confirmed they were above 18, or they were. And so he had all the receipts to prove it. What he did apologize for, he's like, I should not have that type of relationship with my fans. And he apologized for that.
Right.
And some people forgave him, some people didn't, but like that type of thing, there are people out there who's just like, no, fuck him, he's done, he's dead to me. And I'm kind of like listen, if it came out that he really did that type of thing, then yeah, absolutely. But if you don't give someone a path to redemption, what other option do they have? Like what, like they have. I understand there's certain things that will be unforgivable no matter what. I'm not trying to say, oh, just you killed my father, so I'll forgive you eventually. Like shit like that. Like that takes a big person to be able to do that, and it doesn't mean that it's always going to happen. So yes, there are certain lines that will be crossed, and there's no redemption for that. But like there's other things where it's like you don't give anyone any chance whatsoever. And I don't know Project. I don't even watch his videos all that much, but I remember seeing that and being really disappointed.
Yeah.
But then seeing him come back with all the receipts and being like, "This is why people need to stop jumping to conclusions. Like, take allegations seriously, of whatever it may be. Take shit seriously, but also realize that until you see hard proof of something, you can't assume it's true. You can have inclinations, but you shouldn't assume it's true. I don't know. It just
that's such a hard.
I'm not saying that's the same for that, and once again, that's on a situational basis.
Sure.
Like,
yeah,
I think it just frustrates me that like there's just no forgiveness for things. And I'll be honest, like one of the reasons, like when we're having conversations and on podcasts, and I'll be like, oh shit, like I'll be very careful with my words, because I am fucking terrified that someone is going to misinterpret an intention of mine, and then it gets taken out of context, and then all of a sudden there's no, you know what I mean? Like then all of a sudden, it's not that I'm canceled. I don't think I've ever said anything like purposely, you know. I would, if I've said something that is like bad, then I want people to call me out for it, of course.
Sure.
Like I'd rather know. But I think what happens with this no forgiveness type of thing is it breeds a culture of fear. Like you can't be yourself online, because if you slip up, you're fucked. You're never coming back from it.
Yeah, fear and just a general, like, things are so binary. Things are so, like you said, black and white. There's almost like no
nuance. There's no nuance.
Excuse me. Do I think everybody needs to be forgiven by everybody? Absolutely not. That's everybody's
Absolutely not.
Individual experience, and you're also going to experience someone else's experience in a different way. Not to just be saying experience a lot for the experience point, but like, I do think that there should be more room for forgiveness,
for growth, because people make mistakes and they can learn from them.
Right. And it's such a snowball effect. Like if somebody, like even me, like I catch myself if I see a tweet or somebody where it's like, oh, well, so-and-so's canceled, I'm like, oh man, fuck them, like I hate that, that's so annoying. And I'm like, wait, I don't even know, they could have just been saying that as a joke, or who knows. Like I tend to believe the accuser for the most part. I think it's just a better practice to do that. But and I'm not saying personally that I need 100% proof every time, but
well, and I think, sorry to cut you off, what I was gonna say, I think that some people will like, oh well, they take the idea of like innocent until proven guilty almost a little too far in the sense like, oh, the accuser must be lying. Like,
they're very cavalier.
Yet.
Yeah.
You don't know. Like when something happens, you take it seriously. You take it at face value, but you can't. If you're trying, when it comes to the public court of opinion is never going to behave rationally, and also what's rational to one person might not be rational to another. So it's stuff like that. But
humans are messy, complicated, complex creatures.
Yeah.
And I also think that there is room within each thing for two things to be true at once. Like I think it could be like, well, I don't know if this person did this thing, so I'm still going. There's room for you to be wary of that and be like, yeah, that probably did happen, and also like say, but I'm still gonna consume their media content or whatever, even if they did do it. I think there's room for everything to be true. Be like, yeah, this person's kind of a piece of shit, but they make good music, or they're a good actor, like. And there's even certain within, certain, like Kevin Spacey. There are certain Kevin Spacey roles that I will probably never see the same way again. Baby Driver being probably the biggest one. Is that going to stop me from watching that movie and enjoying that movie? No. Will I cringe when he's on screen, when he says to the little, not little kid, but like the teenage boy, you're my lucky charm, kid, I'm never getting rid of you? Yes, I'm going to cringe. Does that mean that performance was not phenomenal? No, it was. So it's so complicated. It's so complex.
Well, and that's the thing where it's like well, sorry, 1 second. I have some cool news that you might be interested in.
Oh, interesting.
But to close out our stream.
Oh no, I just thought of some sad news that happened this week too.
Oh, the Pokemon voice actor.
Yeah, Rachel.
Lilith? No.
Lewis? Was it Lewis or?
No, it wasn't Lewis.
Yeah, Misty / I actually didn't know. So I knew that while you're looking up whatever you're looking up, I knew that Brock and James were the same actor, at least in the first season. I didn't know that Misty and Jesse were the same actor. But they're she's gone now. Cancer. She was only, I think, 42.
1 second. So yeah, that's a bummer, man. It sucks.
Yeah.
Like that hit really hard.
I think the original
Anyway.
Meowth voice actor died too from the this was probably 10 years ago at least, but
This was a while. That actually, I interviewed her brother.
did you really? That's cool.
So
Oh damn,
the
she was
voice
younger
actor-
than Drew. Oh, that hurts.
That's wild, man.
It's because our food is poison. I swear to God. Like, it's all the microplastics, and not to put the tinfoil hat on, but, like, God. Damn. Sorry.
You're talking about microplastics.
They're
trying
in
to
me.
kill you.
They're in my lungs.
Sorry, it's the smoke from cooking.
No, police is
no,
cooking
the-
dinner, and there's jalapenos and onions in this dish, so I know that.
Well,
know.
I hate to. In Japan, they also have a lot of microplastics. Their food is better for you, absolutely.
Yeah.
But
And they have more stringent FDA, or whatever the equivalent of the FDA is. It's a lot more
Yeah.
stringent over there.
To wrap up our stream before I move over to mine,
Yes.
there's two things. One, about the Meowth voice actor. Maddie Blaustein, she is actually a trans voice actor, or was, excuse
Yes.
me. She passed away in 2008. Her brother, Jeremy Blaustein, was the localizer for Castlevania Symphony of the Night,
Okay.
for the original Metal Gear Solid,
Oh, I feel asleep.
for
Or no, that was Metal Gear,
for-
not
that
Solid.
was- yeah, that was not Metal Gear. That was Metal Gear. Yeah, sorry, that was Metal Gear, not Metal Gear Solid. He also did the localization and voice direction for the Silent Hill 2 and 3.
Wow.
And he also did work on the Pokemon cartoon, and he got in there because of his sister Maddie.
That's cool. Yeah. R.I.P. to her. I mean, this is old news, but R.I.P. to Rachel, the voice of Misty and Jesse. That hurt me.
Mhm.
Misty was my first, maybe second fictional character crush. She was the first non-human one anyway, because the first one was Kimberly on Power Rangers. But second character crush was Misty. They'll always hold a place in my heart.
Now, the last two things to wrap up the stream here.
Okay.
One, I did get a response from my Bond buddy, my Bond friend. So in Tomorrow Never Dies, it is said, apparently, the villain, Carver, says it in Saigon.
Nice.
But Quantum of Solace, it is not said.
Oh.
And maybe The Spy Who Loved Me. So I was right on, except
Yeah.
for the ones I thought.
Nice. You should write the next Bond encyclopedia.
The last thing I'll put, and actually my buddy here is probably in chat. I see the fourth person watching. My buddy Rockman Cosmo just messaged me. I've interviewed Rockman Cosmo a few times on the podcast about feature phone preservation. Do you know what feature phones are, Andrew?
Feature phones? I do not. Enlighten me.
You know how in Japan they got really cool fucking cell phones that did really
Yeah.
cool things in like the mid 2000s,
Like
that were,
the the Matrix phone, or like the Final Fantasy Advent Children phone.
It's funny you say Final Fantasy.
Ah.
So they, it is most likely at some point today, before Crisis.
Oh shit.
Final Fantasy Before Crisis is going to get dumped, and finally will be available on an emulator for feature phones.
Before Crisis. Oh, the mobile only game.
Yes, the mobile only game.
Ooh, is that a scoop that you got from this Rockman person?
Yeah, he messaged me on Discord while we were
You
streaming, and
heard
I was
it
like,
here
"Hey, can I
first."
talk about this on stream?" And he goes, "Yeah, sure."
That's
So,
awesome. Thank you, Rockman, or as he's known in the U.S., Mega Man.
Mega Man Cosmo. What would be like so if Rockman Cosmo is what it would be in Japan, would it be Mega Man Galaxies?
Mega Man Wanda.
Mega Man from the Fairly Odd Parents.
Yep.
Wanda and Cosmo.
That's awesome, though. You heard it here first. Get your mobile phones ready to download a mobile online only. I wonder if anyone has done that for the Kingdom Hearts one that was mobile only. That is apparently
I'm pretty
important
sure
to the ending of
I-
Kingdom Hearts 3 for some stupid reason.
BRB switching my name to Mega Man Wanda.
Nice. There is Rockman in the house.
Oh, that's fantastic. And they preserved the demo of Kingdom Hearts coded. So yeah, they have at least part of it.
Nice. I was
Um,
thinking of Kingdom
if-
Hearts key, like the Greek letter key.
Well, that's the phone game that we did get here in the U.S.
Oh, we
as well.
did. Okay, I never played it.
Yeah, we got that game in the U.S. That is its own stem like craziness. Yeah, if y'all are interested in checking out like what's going on with the feature phone preservation stuff, you can follow Rockman on Twitter, twitter.com/ because I refuse to call it the other place.
Yeah.
Twitter.com/RockmanCosmo. I'll put a link in the chat.
Hey, there it is.
So you can follow him there. I don't know, Rockman, are you on Blue Sky at all? I don't think you are.
It's pronounced Blue Esky.
Blue S.
I would love.
You are on Blue Sky. Okay.
Yes, Blue Esky. Excellent. Rockman, if I could ask you a quick favor, I hate to just be direct at this. If you were to follow me right now on the Experience Point on Twitch right now during the stream or ever, but it'd be cool if you could do it during the stream. If you drop me a follow, you will be my 50th follower and I will get to affiliate level.
Oh shit.
No pressure, but if you enjoy these types of conversations and want to see them every Tuesday or see a bunch of random
Consider it done.
Consider it done. There he is, Rockman Cosmo, my 50th follower.
50 followers, baby.
I am now an affiliate. I don't know if it just automatically happens, like I just ascend. But I think I have to hit a certain stream amount, which I know I have because I've been streaming 4 days a week.
You have to hit 50 followers. You have to hit a consistent number of viewers over a certain amount of time, and you have to stream for a certain number of days. You've definitely hit the days. You just hit the followers. You'd have to check your analytics for that. It doesn't happen automatically. You have to go in. You have to set up your affiliate program where you kind of basically you log into your Twitch account on the browser, and then it'll ask you all the different you have to I agree to be part of the affiliate program and all this other stuff. I can tell you now, it doesn't earn you a lot of money, but if you continue to stream the way you do it though, because I only stream twice a week, so mine takes I think I make $5 a month because I have one person who does it automatically. Mm-hmm. Who subscribe to me and just keeps paying me $2.50 every month, and then periodically some people will hop in with their Prime subs.
Nice. Okay, Drew says it doesn't just happen. It might take a few days to register. That's fine.
Yep.
That is awesome. Excuse me. Thank you so much, Rockman. Or I should say, Mega Man Wanda. I very much appreciate it. And excellent work with the game preservation. That's very cool. I just heard about. I don't think it's very recent, but I did just hear about the somebody. I don't know if you were a part of this, but somebody just preserved a HTML a web only Pokemon game that they released for I think the second movie, where it was they had no direction whatsoever, and they were just Nintendo I guess was just yeah, whatever, just go make this stupid game that'll just lead people to this website for our movie. But they made where you can move around and catch Pokemon, and you eventually go up to catch the 3 legendary birds because the Pokemon movie 2000 heavily featured the legendary birds, and Nintendo shut it down because it was too good. And that was the story anyway. Nintendo shut it down because they were oh wait, hang on, we might actually want to do something like this for real, and they told them to stop, and they shut it down. But somebody just recently got it back up and running so you can play it. I forget what it's called.
That's wild. I had no idea.
Yeah, it's pretty cool though.
The internet is filled with lots of lost little bits like that, lost tidbits of cool shit and whatnot. It's a bummer, but that's the internet for you.
That's the way the cookie crumbles. Get it? Because internet.
No.
And that's gonna be because internet cookies.
Oh, that took me. I'm dumb.
That's all right. I'm breathing in liquid, or I'm breathing in vapor, jalapeno vapor right now. So that sounds to me jalapeno, as they say it. Oh my God! Wait, quick story that I have to tell, and then we can leave. So there's this really, really, really good breakfast place around here, and it's also like out of the city, so it's like very rural and very white. And we went one day. We ate breakfast. Police was in the bathroom. I was waiting for her to come out so that we could leave. And this
Did you encourage her? Good job. I'm proud.
I did. I was like, I'm so proud of you. Good job pooping. No, it was her first time.
Anyone hopping in is not going to understand any of that context.
Yes, you please, I beg you to go back and rewatch it just for the context, because if not, I may be put on a list. So I was waiting for police to come out of the bathroom, and then these two women sat down. Very Karen-looking woman, like, not to pass judgments, but they were old white people who had probably never seen a person of color in their life. And so the server came over, and they were like, oh, I think she ordered like a breakfast burrito or something of some kind. And they were like, oh, would you like to try, we have, for the protein for that, for the meat, we have, like bacon, sausage, chicken, whatever. We also have chorizo now. And this woman, I shit you not, clutches her pearls and goes, what? What is that? Chorizo? That sounds so interesting. I'll try that. What is that? And I'm like, oh my God, tell me you've never seen another person of any other race than yourself without telling me. It was I cringed so hard.
That I think the clutching of the pearls sells it. Like, for me, if I like, because to be honest, I don't even know what the fuck chorizo is. I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
It's like Hispanic sausage.
No, thank you. It's not. I'm not a sausage fan.
Just in general. Like, it's just like a spicy Mexican sausage.
Like, even when I get like breakfast sandwiches, like a egg and cheese or something like that, I don't like sausage, egg and cheese. I like pork roll and bacon.
Okay, yeah, pork roll is definitely a very rural Pennsylvania thing, I think.
Well, it's more of a Philly thing in general. Well, Taylor ham is another name for it too.
Oh, I've never heard that.
Yeah, that's like the Jersey version of it.
That's the Jersey, yeah, but give me a Taylor ham.
Hey, get some Taylor ham and come on down to the meat shop.
Yeah, hit it with some
choppy, because we fancy. We put an E on it.
Hit it with some cheddar whiz with onions and give me a few cigarette butts to put out on it.
I like how, like, the Philly accent's like John, and we gotta go down to get a hoagie.
Going down to Wawa and getting a hoagie for only $2.
Wawa hoagie, and then like New Jersey is like, how you doing? It's just automatic smoker voice.
Oh yeah, it's just like New York, but you just put more pain, more desperation.
The fuck's the matter with you? Anyway, I have to start my stream.
Okay, I did an audition recently for and I hope I get it, for some kind of animation where I had to audition for this crime lord named Tuna, and if I can remember the sides, it was he goes, "Who the hell is this guy? What's he want? Where's he come from? He's out, man. He's outgunned, and he walks away clean with my money. Now what are you gonna do about that?" Like, I just got to lay into it. My throat hurts so bad after doing it. I really hope I get this gig, but if I don't, my throat will be happy. Jersey accent is just NYC plus unemployment. Yeah, you can just taste the crack pipe in the New Jersey accent.
Oh my God, the dirty joys,
the dirty joysy.
But all right, man, I do have to start my stream.
Yeah, no worries. I appreciate this. This has been a great convo. I am gonna, since there is enough people here, I'm gonna do my first raid, and I'm gonna try to figure out how to do that, and I will send these viewers to your stream, or you can just go to Still Loading on Twitch. But I'm gonna try to do a raid.
Hold on, I'm gonna end our Discord call then.
Okay.
Because Streamlabs will not allow that, so I will do that real quickly. You know what? If I turn off the camera, what happens? What happens to your thing?
Ooh, well, it just says Still Loading Podcast, and it shows the call.
Oh, okay,
and it shows the nudes we've been sharing to each other over Discord.
That's funny. All right, yeah, I'm going to disconnect from this, and then. Oh wow, that really screws everything up though. What I do, that. Holy
Really?
Shit. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna start my stream. So
Okay, I will try my very best to do a raid. I have not done one yet. Obviously, I'm new to this whole thing.
no, it's all good. All right. Thank you as always, sir, and I will see you on the other side.
Sounds good. What a great way to end it. Hey, everybody, go see Deadpool. All right, I'm going to figure out how to do a little raid over here. Let's turn off his window, just so we don't have to look at that. Is it this one? Yes, it is. All right, now I'm talking to an empty box. All right, can we do it? Raid, 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 raid. Not me about to Google how do you do a raid on Twitch. I think I just have to go to his page or his Twitch account.
I guess it's like, I don't know. Wait, why am I on my desktop?
Oh, if you type /raid and then his name. Oh, sick. Thank you. My man Drew, a fellow Drew, coming in clutch. So I'm pretty sure it's just still loading pod. But he may be under still loading. So I don't. Is that just the username? Still, it is still loading pod. Okay, and he is on. So let's try this out. Do I do that in... I type that in my chat or in his? I imagine mine. Your chat. Okay.
Let's try it. Our first raid. Here we go. Get raidy.
First raid. Here we go.
Raid. Raidy. Still. Loading. Pod.
The raid has been created. Let's see if that worked. Let's go to his now. Let's see if that worked.
So you're a good cop then, bro.
Did it work? I don't know. 274 followers. Dang, Josh. I didn't know I had a celebrity over here. There should be a button that says raid now, or you could wait until the timer runs down. Ah. I don't think that did anything. Let me go back and look. There it is. It just went through automatically.